So is the Grom a beginner bike? It's a bike that's good for beginners, but I wouldn't say it's just a beginner bike because, as you can see, I ride. And I've been riding for like 40 years. It's a fun bike, and it's a good bike to teach fundamentals on. But it's also just, I'll tell you, out of all the bikes I've had, there's some that you think back on and you go, oh, that was a really good bike. This is a really good bike. And I was surprised because never had one. This is a 24. I thought, okay, is this going to be able to keep up with traffic, or am I going to be like asking to get run over on this little tiny thing? And within the first 200 yards of riding this bike on the road, I knew it was going to be fine. This thing, I know the speedometer's off, so I'm going to do a video where I got the GPS hooked up and I'm going to run it and see how far off it is. But I've seen an indicated 66. And I think it's about 2.5 miles off is my guess. So that's still 63, 64 mile an hour top speed. It's got the Kaufman exhaust on it, which is really loud. And I wasn't sure that, or not Kaufman, Zoom. It's got the Zoom exhaust, sorry. But on a bike this little, I'm like, that helps. People know where you are because they can hear you, whether they're in front of you, and definitely if they're behind you, they can hear you. If you just kind of keep it, if you start it up at idle, it's not really that bad. But once in fact, I'll go get the key. I'll fire it up. Okay, so I know they make a couple different versions of it, and one has a loop. This one's just straight, pain in the ass, because it's right over top of the oil drain plug. Definitely sucks. So if you're thinking about a straight tube exhaust, you're gonna have to take your pipe off from the head here, loosen it up in one of the mounts and drop it down, and then you can just barely get a small bowl in there to get the oil out. So that's one drawback for it. But like I said, at idle, it's not too bad. Like you could go down the road, out of my driveway, out of my development, not too bad. But when you wail on it, she barks. So, and like I said, I found a stock exhaust for 20 bucks. I went and got it just so I have it. I might eventually do like a Yashimura slip-on the stock exhaust. When I first wanted to get it, I thought, oh, all this stuff I want to do to it to make it faster, and it's like, how much money do you want to spend to get maybe 3, 4, 5 miles an hour? It's like, if you really want to go really, really fast, this isn't the bike you should be buying. So, but like I said, it's fine to keep up with traffic. I can go not on a highway, but on a fast 2-lane road where everybody's doing, 50, 55, 60, no problem. So totally happy with that. When I got it, I had these goofy bar end mirrors on it. I couldn't see anything with them. And on a bike this slow, you want to know what's coming behind you. So you can get these off Amazon. I think I paid like 20 or 30 bucks for them. And way better than the bar ends. I know the bar ends look cool. Everybody likes them, but I want to see behind me on a bike like this. The headlight, pretty bright. I ride all the time with it on the high beam. So yeah, good enough. You should ride daytime high beam. You got on a little tiny bike, you want to be as visible as you can. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And with the little tires, oh my God, it handles so quick. So quick. And I got the V rubber on the front, which people say it sucks. I've pushed it a little bit. I'm not going crazy yet because I'm still getting used to the bike. It's got a different tire on the back. I've looked at tires, that would probably be the next upgrade I do, is a decent pair of tires on it. So decent set of tires. But yeah, I wouldn't say this is just a beginner bike. Every time I give this to somebody to take it down the street, they come back with a gigantic smile on their face. It's just that kind of feeling. It's just really fun to ride this around because of the footprint. It's so small. It's so light. It's so short. You never feel like, you're going to drop it or it's just, and even at speed, it's stable. I've wide opened it, been flying down, not the highway, but, you know, having it wide open, it's dead stable, doesn't do anything weird, and it corners like crazy. It's like this thing, there's only really one way to ride it, and it's wide open, every gear, and brake late. And that's what makes these things so fun. That and wheelies, but I don't plan on doing too many wheelies on this because I thought it was going to be easier to pop up, and it seems like, at least on this one, you really got to kind of juice first and clutch it up pretty good. It doesn't seem like it really wants to pop. It's got the stock gearing on it, and I'm not going to even mess with that. I know a lot of people drop to a 14 tooth, you know, to get it a little bit more punchy, but no, I don't want to lose any top end at all on this. So even though it takes a little bit to get there, it'll go up to 40, 45 pretty quick. And then after that, it's kind of a slow climb. But like I said, I've seen 66 on it. That's fine for me. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to go crazy and trying to spend a whole bunch of money to get a couple more miles an hour out of it. I think it's fine the way it is. So that's my thoughts on it. This will probably be a bike I keep for a long time. I originally bought it. I wanted a Grom, but I originally bought this because of the price, and I was going to flip it and sell it and make a couple grand on it. But after riding it, I think I'm going to keep it for a while. One thing I want to add in here too is the suspension is very, very soft on these. So if you're going to be riding it a little rough, a little harder, it's going to need some help. It's way too springy in the front for real confident cornering. So probably after the tires or along with the tires, definitely going to need some help in the front, and I'm going to research and see how much it is to do the rear. The rear's not as bad, but you know, I don't want to make it unbalanced. So that is one thing I will gripe on it about. Another thing is the comfort. Is like Honda usually has been known to make pretty good seats. Their foam has been pretty good. And I'm 6 foot 160. I didn't know if I was going to be comfortable, if this was going to be you know, half hour I'd want to get off this thing, and it's not like that at all. I spent an hour in this and no issues at all, because I immediately thought when I bought it, looks like I'm going to have to do a Corbin seat. You know, I've heard people complain about it, but honestly, it's not that bad, and the position is good. The layout is good. It's comfortable. You can move around on it because it's flat. So as far as comfort goes, yeah, it's pretty good. I don't see any need that I got to go get a Corbin seat for it. I think this one's pretty good, and it's fine the way it is. Chain adjustment's pretty straightforward. It's a 19 on this side, a 14 on this side. Loosen it up real good, and then you got a 10 and a 12 here. You hold the 12 and take the 10, you back it out, and then what I do is I'll turn a quarter turn this side, and keep going back and forth until you get the chain tight where you want it. Because one thing about these is they seem to stretch the chain pretty good. I've only had this one for 100, 200 miles or so already, and it's already stretched the chain. So that's something you're going to be doing a little bit. The integrated taillights in the back, I really like them because there's so much crap they give you when you buy these stock. You got this giant plastic thing hanging down here in your plate, and it's all, you can get rid of all that stuff. Get a plate relocation kit and a tail kit like this. It cleans it up, makes it look really nice. Okay, so the fuel capacity is 1.6 gallon. So you could probably about get 150 miles out of a tank on one of these. So, but in 22, any Grom newer than 2022, the engine's different. What they did was they went with a smaller bore and a longer stroke. That adds a little bit of torque, and they gave it another gear, and that really helped because this thing is just great for riding around. So I haven't ridden the earlier generation to compare it, but this one does pretty good, and I wouldn't complain about the acceleration from stops with cars or anything. It'll usually pull away from most cars at a stop. Of course, you know, like I said, you're driving everywhere wide open all the time, so it's just the way you drive these things. It's just you just wail on them, and they don't seem to mind the abuse. The dash is nice. You can configure it a little bit different. You know, it allows you to change some of the trip meters and stuff, and but you got a fuel gauge, you got your RPMs, you have a gear indicator, which is really nice, and it also tells you what you're getting average mile per gallon if that's one of the fields that you choose. Looks like I'm getting about 102.5. They advertise these things at like 150 or some crazy number. I don't think so, man. Maybe if you're going down a hill, but the weight is right around 230-ish pounds. give or take a little bit. The suspension travels a little over 4.5 each end. So it's not a dual sport. It's not, if you want to take this off-road, you're going to really be taxing the suspension, I can tell you that. The engine will pull it, and especially if you put some knobby tires on it, but you're definitely going to need to do something about the suspension because you'll be bouncing all over the place. And in that, I will say, even though the suspension is soft, if you're not going to ride this aggressive and you're just putting around in, like, you know, your town, it's very soft. It's a very nice ride because it is so soft. So, you know, but you know, you got to kind of make it for what you're going to use it for. Oil changes are simple. The fill's here. The filter is there. It takes just under 1 quart of 1030, 1040 in the summer. Plugs right there. It's easy to get to. Like I said, the only thing that's bad is with this Zoom exhaust setup, is the drain bolt is in the way. The exhaust is in the way of the drain bolt. But yeah, that's what I like. Easy maintenance. The stock handlebars are fine. I know it's kind of a personal preference, and a lot of people like to look at like the Pro Tabers or what. They're 7/8 bars, but I kind of like having this open in here. It lets me do stuff here, and it's easier to get to the key. So I'm probably going to leave the stock bars on it. And when I bought it, I thought that was going to be one of the first things I was going to change. So that's going to stay. The gas cap is lockable. That is a nice touch. I've got bikes that are way more expensive than this, and the gas cap's not lockable. The horn is gay. It sounds like a moped, so that's something I'm going to replace. Probably going to put a sound bomb in there or something, because on a bike this little, you want to be heard. I'll tell you, two big enemies of this bike is wind and hills. Either one of those with only a 125cc engine is going to really shut you down. So in summary, you know, there's a reason why these bikes are so popular, and Honda has sold so many of them. I think they came out in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they really got something special here, and people realize it, and people buy them, and people ride the crap out of them. And aftermarket on these is huge. There is so much stuff you can do to these in the aftermarket. So, you know, I think people enjoy customizing them too. So honestly, I don't think you could go wrong buying one of these things.